That's dead. You gotta die. Karma.
Do you pay for dates?
Not no more. I would though.
Really?
Yeah.
She bad. So the question still remains: you gonna pay her bills?
Not for a nigga. That's not
she's saying.
Of course not.
She need all her bills paid.
It's tricks. Here for a good time, not a long time.
The niggas are tricks.
The dating niggas, they're just like it's like a game, like chess pieces. Just move them around.
Interesting.
Paying for them niggas dates, but like for someone I'm dating, yes, or like somebody I'm in a relationship with, yes.
I'm saying if you're dating a nigga, you like him. No.
Hey, Ray, what's happening?
Yeah. The fuck?
You're
gonna go back to your homies in a group chat.
Yo, what
man, Shawty did all this shit for me.
Because I know you had something good.
Shawty.
I just know
and then next thing I know, you out here in the street doing whole nigga shit. That shit wild. No.
Well,
probably had.
Ain't that what we do? We go pay for dates, and then you go back to your.
That's one of those double standards you guys love to talk about.
2 scoops of rice, veggies,
can't relate.
on the side.
Oh, you can't relate.
I already know.
But yeah, no, like the person, my significant other, yeah.
Look who it is. Harmony, what's up? Lately,
You don't feel like you should treat your man to a date?
I was like,
these niggas are boring. This is a boring ass fucking video. Get the fuck out of here. And I watched that whole fucking video. I didn't think that shit was that. Oh my gosh. I watched that whole interview. Lately, I've had a hard time. Baked chicken, rice, and veggies cooked this time, though. I mean, you cook the same thing that you normally eat. I feel like you're a very chicken and rice, veggies type of person. And we can do it too. Ooh, this is what we're gonna watch. The freaking
your team might be mad
Obama and
like this, but
Hasan Minhaj interview.
I need you to look me in the eyes.
Yes.
And be honest with me.
Always.
Yo, he's
Mr.
so
President,
cool.
When you do your end of the year lists,
yes,
do you really read all those books, watch all those shows, and listen to all those songs?
I do. Listen,
no, you don't.
I am so glad that I had this opportunity.
Please.
More Latinas in the world. Amen. Amen.
Believe the books.
Yeah, I try to eat healthy. I feel you, bro. I can tell.
But the playlists, they somehow think, and this is mostly coming from young people like you.
Yeah.
Somehow y'all think you invented rock and roll, you invented hip hop, and so the fact that my lists are pretty incredible. People seem to think, well, he must have had some 20-year-old intern who was figuring out, this latest cut. No, man, it's on my iPad right now.
You have "Life Is Good" by Sir featuring Scribs Riley on your iPad right now?
Come on, man. Don't play with me.
Okay.
Huh?
All right, let's cap it. Let's raise the rim a little bit. Give me the plot line for Afterlives by Abdul Razak Gurnah.
Yo, he's quizzing the president of the United States.
How much time do we have here? Come on, man. Look, here's the bottom line of my playlist.
Yo, bro, come join on YouTube.
And my book list.
Join the show on YouTube. I'm watching the Hasan Minhaj.
I am very scrupulous about making sure that this is stuff that I actually like.
But same.
I
find it really hard to believe that Obama listens to all those songs that he puts on his playlist.
On the music list. Yeah. Where I will get suggestions.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I got time to be listening to music all the time. So typically at the end of the year, what happens is folks will be like, man, you need to listen to this. This is good. Mm-hmm. But unless I'm actually listening to it, watching it, reading it, I won't put it on there.
Gotcha. What would happen if you didn't choose Michelle's book?
Well, that makes sense, though. Because we share a bank account.
The only logical thing is his daughters put him onto music. Someone on my TikTok said the only logical thing about how he formulates the playlist and stuff
is that
I got Malia and Sasha put him on to music. But that's basically what he said. He basically said people tell him what to listen to.
He brought this over
to it, and then that's how
to my house in Chicago. after we got elected, and because he used to live in the same neighborhood where our house is.
Oh wow.
For a time when he lived in Chicago, and by that time he was already having trouble speaking.
Right.
Wait, who?
But somehow managed to like communicate just through his face and his.
It was so cool too to see
expressions.
him. Did he do little bits and stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
he did like the
Oh
whole
damn!
magic tricks.
I didn't even know you got it to
all kinds of
1.2K.
stuff.
Thank you.
Kids.
Come
love
watch
him.
on YouTube. Come watch the interview.
He was a big spirit, a big soul.
An Obama
it was really interesting. When I was a kid, he came to the mosque when we were little in Sacramento. I grew up in Sacramento, and for him to just show up and play with me,
I didn't know
such an iconic.
Hasan Minhaj was
He's one of those folks
California.
who. There have been a handful of people who, when you meet them, you're like, oh, this is exactly what I was hoping.
Yeah.
Mandela was one. The Dalai Lama.
Wow.
Queen Elizabeth, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's exactly the way you.
Elizabeth living up to the hype.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was another one.
It's cool that you have one of these. I always wanted something like this, but this is a cool moment right here.
Yeah, well,
Two iconic Muslim Americans right here. I'm actually going to lean on you to be my therapist a little bit. Help me understand.
Come on,
this,
I'm going to help you out.
So meet me here. I'm here speaking on behalf of so many voters.
Yeah.
and
First
so
of all,
many
let
Americans
me set my watch. So that,
Right.
That's
I'm
part of
billing
the
you.
therapy process.
Right. I know the session's
Yo,
only 60
Chris,
minutes.
what's up,
and
dude?
that's a whole other conversation. I feel that the times that we're living through right now are bleak in a way that they've never felt before in my life. We were talking over there. I'm 37. This is the 6th presidential election I'll be voting in. But it just seems more insane than ever. Congress is insane. Voldemort is running again. You got corruption in the Supreme Court, Roe v. Wade, book bans, trans bills, culture wars, mass shooting, climate change. And now everybody's wondering if they're going to be replaced by AI. And I was thinking about this, and I was like, I'm going to meet President Barack Obama, and there is no way the hope and the change guy does not feel depressed. You are too smart to not feel depressed. You're too intelligent.
All right. So, Hasan, let's work through these issues.
Yeah.
First of all, of course, there are times where I feel depressed because objectively, when you see an entire school,
he's speaking to a black man that was born in the 60s.
A gunman
talking about
is walking in.
Times are so bleak.
Weapons of war.
Man, he's seen worse.
If your heart's not breaking, then something's wrong with you. If you think that's normal, then
people just
then you really do need
to. Nice, cool. Come join on. Come join on YouTube, Chris. We're watching Obama's interview with Hasan Minhaj. For sure. What's up, bro? YouTube. Come join on YouTube, my guy.
Haze floating.
Come join.
Right here in DC, coming from the north.
But Eric, that's such a good point, bro.
Like all the evidence is that we're not moving as fast as we need to.
1,000% sure that it was 1,000 times worse.
The issue for me, at least.
Yeah, we had Trump,
and maybe this helps you out.
But we also
is not to be blind to the genuine challenges and threats that are in front of us. Two things, I guess, I do for myself. Number one is I do try to maintain some perspective. When you say this is the worst things have been since you've been around.
Sure.
Well, dude, you've only been around 37 years.
Oh,
right?
boom.
Ask your parents.
To Eric's point.
Or your grandparents whether this is the worst that they And I'm pretty sure that, between
Eric,
World War I, World War II, Great Depression, Jim Crow.
This boy said, hit a black. I'm going to do a whole parkour video on YouTube one day.
Cambodia.
I'm gonna hit so many backflips. We can go through some lists.
You
will never have to ask me
of moments that are significantly worse than this. Part of the challenge that we have is that you grew up, and in some ways I grew up, during this anomalous stretch of time in which, even though bad things were happening,
right,
for the most part, the trajectory of humanity was things were getting better. We were becoming less racist and less sexist and less homophobic and better educated and healthier and wealthier, and extreme poverty was being reduced. And and there was this, and then the Berlin Wall
DJ
comes down, and Mandela's released.
Scott. Yo, what's up, dude?
There's this enormous sense that
facts. I've been waking up to the fear mongering from a lot of talking heads.
Do you feel there was all the stuff that you were pushing forward, and then when you have rollback,
and then
Democratic, do you feel
this man?
Damn. You don't feel that at all? Because what I'm trying, Mr. President, what I'm trying to get out of you, actually, I'm actually just going to say it. Emotional honesty.
Yes.
Because when you first came into office, when I was Sasha's age,
right,
you were like Ted Lasso season 1. Folksy, optimistic, cheerful. Right. And now,
but that's
some of these kind of
too,
like
Ted Lasso didn't know what he was
talking
doing.
Points feel like Ted Lasso season 3.
Oh, man.
Predictable and at times forced. And what let me give you props.
That's a tough review.
But I want to give you props.
Yes.
Remember that moment where you were like, caught the hot mic and you're like, Kanye's a jackass.
The young lady seems like a perfectly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing?
Why would he do that?
He's a jackass. No.
And everyone's like, yes.
Like, nothing wrong with what he said.
There's these moments of emotional honesty where there's such deep resonance because the American public feels gaslit and lied to. I will say this about the other guy who was in office. He was a factual liar, but emotionally honest.
He was always who he is.
Yeah, but I think progressives sometimes can be factually accurate, but emotionally dishonest. And if there was just a moment where
I am going to be, look, I can't be something other than who I am. And so I am going to tell you the absolute truth. Emotionally.
Yes.
Have there been times over the last 4 years, during the period of my successors being in
no, for real,
where I was cursing up a
storm? He ate that.
Absolutely. Were there times where I felt
progressives can be factually honest, but emotionally
our best
dishonest
impulses had been replaced by our
everything's good, everything's fine.
Yes,
we love each other. Kumbaya.
Have there been times where my basic optimism about the human spirit is tested, and I say to myself, I'm not sure that we can get our act together fast enough to solve these really big problems like climate change. Not because any individual person doesn't want to solve it, but because of a basic collective good problem. Like, how am I going to get the Chinese and the Indians to cooperate? And you know, when I look at demographic bulges in places that are poor, and you know, how are we going to get them education
it still
fast enough?
baffles me that this man was president.
It feels overwhelming. So I guess this is the point I'm trying to make, is that I at least 3 to 4 times a day think, I'm not sure, you know, we can manage this, because we're a bunch of chimps with guns and big machines.
Yeah, talk that talk.
But we're basically still operating at chimp-like levels. And it doesn't matter if you have enough, you know, you got a banana, somehow you still want everybody else's banana. And you and we're greedy and we're cruel. All those things are true. And yet, what I also say to myself, because I witness it, is the capacity for us somehow to kind of keep this thing afloat.
Right.
And to, in this messy way, kind of muddle through. And when we muddle through long enough, in small increments, things get a little bit better, and we get a little bit kinder, and we get a little bit more open-minded. And as Michelle's mom, who's one of my favorite people, she says,
that's so true.
and you know, us old people, we die off. And because we've got old ideas, and then the new ideas come in, and
things get a little bit better and a little bit more
if you take a long enough timeline,
can
make
made it
you
there?
feel Not, like everything's going to be hunky dory, but it can sustain your
hunky-dory?
spirit because you say to yourself, you know what, if we can make things a little bit better, better is really good. I used to say this to the White House all the time. Better is really good.
Right.
So let me do this. I know I'm not trying to filibuster.
You're trying to filibuster.
No.
No,
I think this is going to be responsive to your question. So,
Sure.
This is
but if you want to
filibuster.
tee it
Can I
up,
give
that's
you a
fine.
little
Go ahead.
what I would have loved when the Merrick Garland thing happened?
Yes.
I wish you would
Literally
have done
trying
the
to
thing that
filibuster.
LeBron does after
Just taking
calls.
up time
You seen the meme
speaking.
where he's like, just do that. Get a tech. I'm not saying don't double tech. Don't Draymond it. Don't get thrown out. Get a tech. Have a moment to just go, too much Timothy Chalamet. We've had enough. We know who he is. The debt ceiling. And just pit, and we're like, yes.
There are a couple of times where I did do that.
Okay. You got a tech.
Yeah, and that's Hasan Minhaj's point. Progressives
I was happy to get the tech.
and emotionally.
The most obvious one was
and it's
after
kind of
the
doing the
death.
same thing.
And I had 2 days after the slaughter of these babies in Sandy Hook.
Mhm.
I spent basically an entire evening with those families.
Mm.
It's the only time I ever saw a member of the Secret Service cry while on duty.
Right.
And then we came back, and I assumed, all right, this time, this will prompt something out of Congress.
Right.
And these parents, 2 months after this had happened, came down, and they're walking around Congress, and they're meeting with Mitch McConnell and others, and looking them in the eye and to say, just do something. Just show us that our kids matter to you.
Right.
And to see Congress you can pull up my Rose Garden press conference after that happened. I went off.
Yeah.
And I think the point you're making, though, is a legitimate one, which is, in retrospect, when I think about my presidency, there were times where stupid stuff was happening. And sometimes I would say, all right, look, let me stay calm when probably at least some of my supporters would have liked to see some expression of, we're not crazy, are we? That was crazy stuff that person did, right?
A little bit of that, yeah.
The point I was going to make it quickly, because I know you got stuff you want to cover. Malia comes to me. She says, you know what? She's 24. All our friends, sometimes we talk about climate change and we just feel like there is no way
24.
we're going to be able to solve this. We're looking at the science. It feels as if we're on a trajectory that we're going to sail past this.
I love
2
how
degrees centigrade
his blackness comes out.
benchmark where after that
phrases
potentially
sometimes.
things are getting cataclysmic.
No,
and so I'll be
I
honest
went
with
off,
you, Dad, a lot of my
right.
friends, they just feel as if, what's the point?
And I went off.
Because the world's burning, and there's
Oh,
nothing.
did you?
And I said to her,
Did you 44?
well, she asked me, what should I say to them?
Right.
And what I said to her is, look, we may not be able to cap temperature rise to 2 degrees centigrade. But here's the thing. If we work really hard, we may be able to cap it at 2.5 instead of 3. Or 3 instead of 3.5. That extra centigrade, that might mean the difference between whether Bangladesh is underwater.
Right.
It might make the difference as to whether, 100 million people have to migrate,
right,
or only a few.
Right. And these incremental changes
that matters.
Yeah, I see.
It makes a difference.
Sure.
And
it's worth fighting for. And
it's worth fighting for.
And you can't descend into nihilism and not try to save those 100, 200, 300 million people. It matters.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
We're turning the corner, and we're going to get into the next presidential cycle, 2024. Right. And Republicans and Democrats, generally, they have the same strategy.
Right.
It's called energizing the base. And I'm going to see you're going to be on the Save Democracy 2024 tour. Right. You're going to be hitting elbow jumpers, That's what I do. You're gonna do that. You're gonna be doing hot ones. You're gonna be in a video like those Twitter videos with like Mark Ruffalo. He's gonna be crying for some reason. Just the whole thing. We have Georgia. You know, it's like you're gonna get that's right, Georgia.
Yo, Hasan Minhaj is hilarious.
It feels like Stephen A. Smith, ESPN First Take, emotional manipulation tactics. How do I get you to care about a 2-hour basketball game for the other 22 hours of the day where you're arguing with friends and neighbors and not actually really thinking about the core issues? Do you think there is any other way to go out there and energize the base without exhausting or terrorizing them?
Yeah, I did it in 08. I did it in 04. I did it in 12. And I think you can still do it now. Look, here's what makes it challenging, at least on the Democratic side. I can't really speak right now to the mentality of the GOP at the moment. They've got a lot of work to do. They need some therapy.
But I've been certainly asked to lecture other people into voting.
So
I get asked by a lot of people, hey, you need to tell people to do this. Yeah.
I do think that speaking to voters as adults and not just resorting to fear, but describing how problems could be solved, has some resonance. Look, let me give you a specific example.
So can you meet me here? Why should exhausted voters vote? Meet me there. I'm exhausted. This is my 6th time. I'm exhausted.
All right. So
Obama
here's an example. Right now, the African American unemployment rate is the lowest that it's been in a generation. Now, are a bunch of those jobs bad jobs? Are some of those jobs temp jobs? Are some of those jobs low-wage jobs with a lot of turnover? Okay, yes. But you know what? Tight labor market means that there are a bunch of families right now who can pay for groceries, even with inflation.
See, but in a way not to cause chaos.
Their kids are living in a pretty stable household.
I feel you on both sides of that statement.
On Christmas, there's a present under the tree.
Because that's a fact.
And a lot of that has
to do
with
could have caused a lot of
policies that have helped to bolster the economy.
All his words had to be perfectly
encourage a tight labor market. Now, that may be wonky. That may be not sexy. It's not as cool as talking about fascism's coming.
Right.
But you know what? I actually think that if you speak to people about something like that, people go like, that I guess that's worth 15 minutes of my time to go down to the polling place and vote. So my experience is that fear is a great motivator, and politicians and political consultants and advertisers in the political space know how to tweak that.
This election is unlike any other. That sort of thing.
But
fear mongering.
I think actually people do respond to is when they feel like the person's speaking for real. Authenticity is an overused term.
You mean what I'm trying to get you to do? A little bit.
Which I'm actually doing.
Okay.
Which I actually do on a more regular basis than people give me credit for.
Okay.
What confuses people is a couple things. One is I am a little Spock-like. I am a little bit rational. I tend to think rationally about most stuff. And I am a little bit hopey-changey. I do kind of like that. You talk to Michelle.
I know.
Michelle will tell you, you know what? He's a little nerdy. He's got swag. He's cool, but he's a little nerdy. And he really is kind of optimistic.
I've seen your pre-glow-up photos. I'm like, yo, he's a dorky McDorkerson.
And
I mean that lovingly. Okay,
I'm not taking it that way.
Yo,
but that's okay.
I'm saying.
So when we drop this on my family WhatsApp,
he's kind of going a little hard. He said, what I'm trying to get you to do.
Help me explain this to family members.
Mr. President said, which I am doing.
WhatsApp is going to be like,
which I do,
which
people don't give me enough credit for.
What did Barack Obama ever do for us?
Because that's like
And what I like to do, this is my take. This is how
that's what I like about
ameliorate
Obama. At
the
least you know he's authentic. He's
and tell
being
me if I have the
himself.
right take here. You're in the right.
That's who he is.
I go, the presidency is like parenthood.
Yeah, we always saw him as like a
president can properly F up a country.
Yes.
He's probably like
you can take a country to war. You can really
You can make some big mistakes.
You make some big mistakes.
the one
But you
black
can't make your
basketball
kid
playing
LeBron. You can't.
boy
The
on
delta
his
on
all-white
how
high school
the
team
uptick
that made all
is
A's.
very small. Is that the right framing?
I think here's
To temper expectations.
Yeah, I think here's another way of saying it is, and I've used this analogy before.
Yeah.
But I think we're in the same space.
Right.
The ship of state, and for that matter, the course of the world and history. That's a big ocean liner. It is a aircraft carrier.
Right.
And if you're the captain and you're steering that little wheel, you can steer it with all your might, and you might move it a degree or two.
Mm-hmm.
And within the time frame of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, if you screw up, you might get into an iceberg, and this is what you're referring to. You can really mess up the engine and steer it off course. But if you're steering it in a better course, that 1 degree, 2 degrees, you may not see it for a while. And sometimes you don't know until you look back that, you know what, we're in a better place here than we would have been.
Right.
You know, you take an example like, the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
People dogged that thing the whole time I was president.
I mean, the website was rough. It was a rough
it was
rollout.
No. Look, I'm owning that completely. I've always said that is probably the worst mistake of my presidency. Not, by the way, because I didn't say once a month, is the website working? Right? That's a whole nother story.
Gotcha.
But even before that, there was all kinds of controversies because people were uncertain. It's taken 10, 12 years before people kind of say, you know what, that's been useful.
Yeah.
And you multiply that across a bunch of issues. So, tell your skeptical, Indian uncles, dude, come on, man. I probably helped Hasan get a job, if it hadn't been for another guy with a funny name, Netflix isn't going to carry him.
That's true.
So, we're prying some doors open.
Okay. Should we close with the fun ones?
Please.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see how fun they are. Right.
This is rapid fire.
Yeah.
This is rapid fire.
Let's do it.
Okay?
I'm going to be quick.
And then Here we go. Okay. This is less of a question and more of a request.
Yeah.
Can we please change your Twitter bio? Right now, your Twitter bio reads dad, husband, president, citizen.
Too corny?
I'm like, dude, 3 of those come standard with the car.
Okay.
I'm 3 of those.
Well, you want to draft something?
Yes.
Give it to me.
Barack Obama. You know what time it is.
That's not bad.
What?
And you can still keep the photo of you holding the white.
You know what
Keep
time it is.
Keep the band. I'm good for the country.
Yeah,
But just go Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I'm him.
I'm him. I really like.
I'm him.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you have to have a little bit of just like you know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
Barack Himi Obama.
Yeah.
I like that.
Obama.
Yes.
Yo.
Okay. I was always wondering this. Did you ever wake up like when you're
Yo,
president?
I'm
Wake up and forget you're
saying.
president? So you'd wake up and you'd be
The
like,
corn, bro.
"Damn it, I'm president."
No.
They got real corny at
No, but you know what I would do?
Jimmy Obama.
Well, I take that back. The first night that I spent in the residency,
Taboo.
the next morning you wake up and you're like, "Well,
Ooh.
man,
Not him. I'm
up in
saying,
here.
bro.
right?
Not him.
I'm looking out instead of looking in."
Him.
Right? So but I did have dreams where I wasn't president, and they were some of my happiest dreams, where I'd be walking down the street, and
Interesting.
it was a nice day, and I'd stop and get like in a little bodega. I'd stop and get like a
Egg and cheese
iced coffee or something,
Yeah.
and I'd sit on a bench, and suddenly I realized nobody recognizes me, and that's the only thing that happened in the dream. I'd just be sitting there chill, and I felt
I felt like I won the lottery.
Part 2 of the memoir. When is part 2 of the memoir coming out? Because right now you're unemployed. There's no excuse.
Yeah, man. That's a sore subject.
Okay.
But I'm working on it.
All right. Look, there's some stuff we just don't have time to get into. We're not going to get into it.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a family affair. I took the Acela up. We're vibing. This is like Thanksgiving dinner with the family. There's some things you just can't get into. And we're not going to get into it.
Okay.
I don't want to get into it.
Okay.
Not going to get into it. Okay. Not going to get into it.
Okay. That's it.
Not getting into it. Don't get into it.
Keep on going.
Yo, Hasan Minhaj is really bold.
Let's not get into it.
I'm very proud of you, man. Yeah,
Yo.
you're doing good. You really are. Good job.
Yo, I feel like he got a crush on Obama.
No, man.
Classified, right?
Move it on.
Classified, right?
No. I thought I'd at least get the alien one. That's the standard.
Just to close it out,
Yo,
out of
Pop
respect
said-
for you in the office.
Pop said, "Move along."
Do you have any questions for me at my body of work?
Not really. I mean,
Copy that.
you know, maybe shoot a little higher.
Copy that. Mr. President, thank you so much.
I had a
man.
great time.
Yo, Hasan Minhaj was really bold in this interview. Some of the things that he was saying like, what I'm trying to get you to do in reference to Obama's authenticity. Like, ooh. But Mr. President always claps back with grace. I mean, he really didn't even clap back. He just basically said, which I am doing. Which I am doing. But you can see that Hasan Minhaj has a great, admiration for Obama. The way he looks at him, he's like, which I don't blame. I would be doing the same fucking thing. But damn, imagine being able, this is his second time. I don't even subscribe. This is his second time being able to interview Obama. He interviewed him for his show, I think, on Netflix. And now, again, for his YouTube. Man. I would love to interview Obama. We're going to end this with a mukbang, though. I saw Phantom posted a video of him trying the worst rated deli in Atlanta. And I'm a lover of bad food. I like bad food. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't like bad food. I like bad pizza. I like cardboard pizza sometimes. I like roller skate pizza, bowling alley pizza, CC's, Little Caesars. It's good to me sometimes. You don't need a gourmet piece of bread and cheese and sauce all the time. It's just sometimes it's just, oh my gosh. Why? Explain. Because it's I don't know. I just don't need how good can bread, marinara sauce, and cheese get?